Hey there, I figured I should do another one of my Berenstain Bears book-to-TV comparisons of a very infamous title that, of course, got adapted into a YouTube poop by yours truly. The Berenstain Bears and the Big Blooper. Even the front cover looks funny with that censored bar over the word bubble. This book was originally written by Stan and Jan Berenstain and published in 2000, and illustrated by an uncredited Mike Berenstain. As you probably already know, this was adapted into an episode of the 2000s Berenstain Bears animated series, produced by Nelvana and aired on PBS here in the States. And of course, Stan and Jan Berenstain were barely involved with this series, despite being credited as executive producers, because of Canadian laws. So, not surprisingly, several things were changed, even if it tries to retain the original message about how inappropriate swearing is. Of course, the opening poem here is the same in both.
Cubs learn new words every day, including some that they should not say.
The book here opens with Sister Bear wondering what to do one afternoon when Lizzie Bruin calls her, asking her to come over and play, to bring her dolls so they could play house and then watch a video. And Sister going to visit Lizzie is perfectly alright with Mama, as then she can get more work done around the house. Yes, you might have noticed this was shortly after Baby Honey was introduced with the book And Baby Makes Five. Honey was never included in the PBS animated series for some reason. You'd think that would have made for a great episode to teach kids about pregnancy with and dealing with a new baby sibling, the way Sesame Street and Arthur all had. So Sister arrives at Lizzie's and they get to playing dolls. In the TV adaptation, it starts with Sister and Lizzie already hanging out together, planning to go on a picnic in the park with their dolls, the same ones from the book. But then a storm closes in, and so rather than get rained on at the park, the Cubs go back to Lizzie's house to have a play picnic with their dolls. In the original book, Sister and Lizzie's dolls, Amanda and Christy, get into a heated argument about wanting to bake cookies, while in the TV adaptation, they're stuffed from their picnic and then have a potato sack race. But in both cases, Lizzie's mother's trying to take a phone call but can't hear it very well while the commotion from the Cubs. And so they head to the family room in front of the TV. Lizzie immediately spots the video her older brother Barry rented, Trouble at Big Bear High. With a title like that, being about teenagers in high school, you can expect some profanity, as lots of high schools feature students swearing a lot. I should know, at times the hallways at my high school could be practically rated X or NC-17. Though Trouble at Big Bear High is likely rated R, or at least PG-13. In the TV version, Sister and Lizzie initially tried to decide which video to put on. Indeed, video cassettes are still fairly common in the early 2000s, even with DVDs starting to become popular. After going through a few that Sister rejects because she's seen before, including a Lassie parody and a Superhero Frog video, until
Trouble at Big Bear High. My brother must have rented this one. School rules and cheerleaders' hearts get broken when teen sensation Jason Kodiak enrolls at Big Bear High.
The way the back of the case is all blank to make translating the series in different languages easier. So it's like there's invisible text on the video case.
Who's Jason Kodiak? Beats me. I'm not a teen.
Ha! But they'll soon be talking like teens after watching that video. To which they do, just to see what it's like. The illustration of them watching the opening of the movie is pretty amusing, and how it's described, the movie looks pretty grown up, and Sister doesn't understand a lot of it. And you may remember when I had NSYNC's Bye 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 play underneath the opening credits from Big Bear High, given this was originally from 2000 when that song was still very popular and would likely be featured in such a film. Yep, NSYNC in the Berenstain Bears universe. But anyways, the original book here. The teenagers in the video often get angry and upset with each other, and sister doesn't always understand why. And they tease each other, make fun of each other's clothes. Ha! This perfectly sums up how I remember high school. All those teenage students getting angry and upset with each other and the teasing. I can even just hear that female teen saying, "Dang girl, look at that idiot's pants." And then of course there's the profanity, with sister not really understanding the words the teenagers are saying whenever they got angry or upset, having not heard them before. She figures the words are sort of like phooey or fudge, but more grown up, which is kind of a good way to describe swear words to the book's target audience. And then she whispers one or two to herself, finding them to sound pretty good. Uh-oh. Well, in the TV adaptation, all we see of Trouble at Big Bear High is a basketball game, and it honestly feels more like a whole movie of an actual high school basketball tournament or something, given the camera angles and the lighting and the lack of music. And Sister Lizzie initially think it's cool, since it's basketball, and are impressed with the teen's moves. And as for the language, I'm sorry, but we don't get any actual implied swearing, the way we did in those Rugrats and SpongeBob and Arthur episodes. Nelvana substituted such language with a much safer word. It's perfectly fine with humans, but can be offensive to the Berenstain Bears.
Your team's going down, Furball!
Ha! Who you calling Furball, Furball?
And of course, Sister and Lizzie both pick up that word, unaware of how offensive it actually is. But in the book, when the video is over, Sister and Lizzie play with their dolls some more, and then ride bikes outside before it's time for Sister to head home for supper. But in the TV version, when Sister and Lizzie are playing with their dolls...
Give it here, you furball! No way, furball!
Instead of riding bikes, they play badminton. And this comes into play when their friends Stacy and Millie happen by and want to play a game of badminton with them. But then when Sister and Lizzie criticized the two for how they played...
What a furball. A furball. Right.
This causes Stacy and Millie to leave in a huff, leaving the two cubs to wonder what went wrong.
Talk about poor sports. I'll say.
Now it's bringing to mind the infamous Caillou episode, where Caillou and Leo learn the word stupid from a preteen and call Clementine that, unaware of how mean it can be. But anyways, in both cases, when we see Sister Mare at home having supper with the family, and this is going to be where she learns the harsh truth about those new words. While first Sister wasn't sure if she liked Trouble at Big Bear High or not, she immediately starts telling our parents and brother about it at the dinner table. How the teenagers at Big Bear High often got angry and upset at each other and made fun of each other's clothes. But she doesn't mention the new words yet. And as you may expect, Mama and Papa initially aren't really paying attention. Probably because such movies aren't their thing. In the TV version, Sister doesn't say a word about the movie yet. Well, here in the book, brother speaks up, mentioning having seen Trouble at Big Bear High with Barry and asking if that movie was a little old for Sister. Ha! That's like a funny way to say it. Probably because Stan and Jay and Berenstain felt the target audience for this book may not know what mature means or something. And Sister retaliates by saying she thought the movie was great and accidentally spills her milk when waving her hand to show how great it was. And as you can probably guess, Sister is about to react with, "Oh, phooey," or "Oh, fudge." But she didn't say fudge. She ends up saying one of the swear words from the video. Sister's face here is funny, and we never learn what the actual word is. But it's safe to assume it's the word, the big one, the Queen Mother dirty words, the F -- word, the number 11 word. My copy of the book here was discarded by my local library because some kid actually wrote that F-bomb word on this page. To show Sister was indeed saying that word. It was in pencil, so they tried to erase it, but you could still kind of barely make it out. But in the TV version, instead of Sister spilling the milk, brother does.
Whoops. Brother, look what you did. You're such a furball. What? Did I say something wrong?
Now you can see how the Berenstain Bears consider furball a swear word in this particular animated series' universe. In the book, there's a pause as the whole family except baby Honey stares at Sister with their mouths open, and Sister now realizing how bad the word she accidentally blurted out is. Papa is speechless, frozen in a shock-like trance that, being the amusing, bumbling father character he is, while Brother is trying not to laugh. Brother's reaction I can totally relate with. Mama immediately asks Sister where she heard that word from. And that's when Sister comes clean, explaining why they watched Trouble at Big Bear High and that the swear was one of the new words that she had never heard of before in it. Mama understands and tells Sister that those words are not nice and that Cubs should never use them, no matter how angry or upset they are. In the TV version, we do get such a scene, but Papa isn't frozen in shock, and Brother actually can't help but laugh out loud a bit.
Wherever did you hear language like that?
On a video. Trouble at Big Bear High.
Whoa! Trouble at Big Bear High? That video's not for little cubs.
If it has that kind of talk in it, I don't think it's fit for big cubs either.
Well, Mama, teenagers talk like that all the time in high schools. They have for decades. I'm sure when she was in high school, she heard many other teens swearing like sailors there. And it's only kind of implied Brother must have seen that movie before. Maybe with Barry, like in the book. I bet they actually watched it in secret when Lizzie and Barry's parents weren't around. And then in the book, Sister asks Mom if grown-ups ever use those words as well. And Brother can't help but hold in a laugh again. And again, I can relate, being kind of on the spectrum. Then at that, Mama snaps Papa out of his trance. And so Papa explains how once in a while grown-ups can swear like that. Like when they hit their thumbs with a hammer, or stub their toes real bad, or run over the hose of a lawnmower, or the kicker muffs a field goal. I know what that's like. My parents are still like that. And for a while I picked up the habit from them in early adulthood. But I thankfully phased it out. In such situations, the strongest such word I could probably muster now is damn! Like in the original Japanese version of the Pokemon anime when Ash is really furious, or when Justin says it in Don Bluth's The Secret of Nim. But the point is, according to Mama, that nobody, not even adults, and certainly not kids or cubs, should use profanity at all, as they're simply not nice. Then she says they should clean up the spilt milk, just as baby Honey tosses her spoon into the mess. But the TV adaptation kind of takes a turn for the worse.
But the important thing is we caught it in time before you said it to someone else.
Uh-oh. I think she said it to someone else.
Oh, Sister.
Mama, I need to go see Lizzie right away.
Hurry along then.
So at least I appreciate the TV adaptation throwing in such a scene. But of course it's with their own substitute swear, furball, meaning it was safer to do compared to the book with the actual implied cussing. But they still squeeze in a bit of humor after that.
And I thought I did dumb things sometimes. Oops.
And so Sister goes to see Lizzie Bruin and tells her she learned that furball is a bad word.
Now you tell me. I called my brother a you-know-what right in front of my mom.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Boy, did I ever get it talking to.
And then after that, they make amends with Stacy and Millie, apologizing and playing a game of badminton to make up for the last time.
After all, crude talk is rude talk, and name-calling is nasty.
Well, my old man thinks name-calling is a form of making a joke. Sometimes he doesn't understand that such jokes can hurt people's feelings, that a joke is a joke, and some people might be too sensitive. I referenced that in my YouTube poop of the aforementioned Caillou crossword episode. But enough about that kind of thing. Both in the original book and the TV adaptation, they end with a bedtime scene. I really love how it plays out in the book, with a sleepy sister asking Mama why grown-ups and cubs use those swear words, even if they're not nice. And Mama gives such a good explanation. She says, because it's easy. It's an easy way to seem grown up. It's an easy way to get attention. And after a while, it gets to be a habit. A bad habit. But when Mama asks Sister if that all makes sense to her, Sister's already drifted off to sleep. But it's implied that she got the message anyways. What Mama said about swearing being easy, it also applies to why some people use contemporary slang and may capitalize it or whatever in social media, along with using some of those lame newer emojis, like the skull one or whatever. Because they're an easy way to grab attention and can soon become kind of a bad habit. But in the TV version of the story, Mama pretty much explains the same thing to Sister. She climbs into the top bunk, which is where she usually sleeps, compared to her being in the bottom bunk in the book, which is unusual since normally in books and both TV shows, brother sleeps in the bottom bunk. But the bedtime scene here adds how grown-ups sometimes swear, even though they really shouldn't, since they didn't bring that up at the dinner table the way they did in the book version.
Grown-ups sometimes say those kinds of rude words, too. And there's just no need for it.
Then after Mama tucks the cubs into bed and turns off the light, the TV adaptation adds an extra bit where the cubs kind of tease each other, with brother tossing a rubber cobra into Sister's bunk to scare her, and Sister quickly backpedals before she could call brother a furball.
You nearly gave me a heart attack, you furry brother.
Then Mama apparently overhears and checks to see if the cubs are alright, to which they say they are. But as soon as she closes the door, Sister retaliates on brother for her own scare prank.
Ah!
So there you have it, comparing the original book of the Berenstain Bears and the Big Blooper with its 2003 TV adaptation of the Nelvana series aired on PBS. I have to say that both do have their own strengths and weaknesses. The book here features a more realistic depiction of high school teenagers in the video Sister and Lizzie watch, with the narrative profanity filter implying it was a real swear word Sister picked up from it. And the explanations from Mama and Papa at the dinner table about how they aren't very nice words. But we never see if Lizzie ended up saying one of those swear words around her parents or anything, and got a similar talking to. The TV adaptation, despite using the word furball in place of any real profanity, also gets the message across pretty well, adding in a bit where Sister Lizzie accidentally offended a couple of their friends in the process, but then apologized for it afterward, saying they didn't know better. And they both had that great explanation from Mama why people swear, simply because it's easy, being an easy way to sound mature and grab attention, but can soon become a bad habit. Same with some of those contemporary hoodie slang words and euphemisms I hear, along with such annoyingly trendy emoji icons online. But to many, those aren't as offensive as profanity. Regarding cubs and the Berenstain Bears watching a mature movie that's not suitable for them, a few years back I wrote a pretty amusing Berenstain Bears fanfic, loosely based on episodes of Boy Meets World and the Rugrats All Grown Up spin-off, where Brother Bear and Cousin Freddy sneak a violent, R-rated horror movie into their treehouse when Mama and Papa are away for a romantic night out and Grizzly Gramps and Gran are babysitting. I'll post a link to that fanfic in the video description. The Berenstain Bears and the R-rated movie. It's pretty funny. But anyways, I hope you found this Berenstain Bears book to TV comparison informative. And so keep watching this YouTube channel. See whatever I do here next.